I attend DSE because really anyone needs to if they're in the industry. You got to have a consistent, consolidated source for getting really good information. And that comes from a lot of different ways. We learn, as you know, from the people that we meet, from the books we read, and from the experiences that we have. And you can kind of get all of that together in one place here at DSE. You can rub shoulders with other people who have struggled with the same things that you may struggle with, right? You may meet other network operators who have successfully gone over the road that you're struggling on right now. And so that's one of the most enjoyable things for me is that are really the personal and the professional relationships that are developed here at DSE, especially where there's anything that's non-competitive. You can spend time together and really complain about some of your frustrations and get insight and feedbacks from other people as far as how they've overcome those challenges and what hurdles and obstacles they've faced and how to avoid those yourself. We provide solutions for the automotive industry. We launched our network in 2005, so we've been at this for a little while. We started with just a basic lobby TV program to educate and entertain customers while they're sitting and waiting for their vehicle to be serviced. But we've found that not only is that the only service that we can provide, but there are other great needs that automotive services have where they need content, right? Like any business, they need some way to communicate more effectively with their customers. And whether it's increasing sales, whether it's impacting customer satisfaction, whether it's reducing perceived wait times, there are myriad different ways in which a business can utilize content and technology to effectively improve various aspects of their business. So what we do is we try and offer various solutions that meet the needs of our customers. We try and look at it the way Clayton Christensen said, where he tries to say, what is the job that needs to be done here for some business, some location, or some customer? What is it that they want performed? So how can we provide a solution that helps meet that need for our customers? So from that one start of a basic TV program, we've migrated to a digital menu board. We have content that we help put on their websites. We've come out with a brand new tablet program that we're working on. We have SEO tools that we use. So we really kind of completed the whole branding and marketing communications circle for the automotive industry on taking content and messaging for their customers. With all of our different products and services that we offer, we have over 12,000 locations that subscribe to one or more of our products or services. So there's a blend of different ones. Some only subscribe to one product or service, and others have 2, 3, or 4. We have a lot of room for growth, as most networks in this space do. We do have a lot of room for growth, and part of the issues as most people face is we tend to have solutions at times either before they're really needed or at least before the business knows that it's needed. So we tend to have to spend a lot of time and effort in helping businesses understand what they need. It goes back to the basic principle of a lot of people who are business owners spend a lot of time working in their business and not necessarily enough time working on their business. And when you take the time to step away from your business and look at it from an elevated view, it gives you the chance to see what things can I do to effectively improve my services as a business and improve my business value. And so that's what we've found is a lot of our customers had to take some time away or a break from their business to realize this is a service that I really need to offer. Otherwise, when you're just, you're busy running yourself ragged day to day, working in your business, you tend to miss some things. And I think we're all the same way, right? You're married. I've been married for about 18 years. And sometimes you get in the daily grind of just living life. Well, it's nice to have a date night and step away and right, Valentine's a great one, but whatever the purpose, it's nice to have a date night or something where you can step away with your significant other and say, how are things in our relationship? What can I do better to help serve you? How can I make you happier, right? And I think the same thing really applies to business, because a relationship between a business and its customer truly is a relationship, and they need to find out what can they do more effectively to help improve that relationship with their customer. And so that's one of the things that a lot of us digital signage businesses have found is we tended to recognize some solutions that could help improve their business, sometimes a little bit before the business owners themselves did, because they were in the trenches. A lot of people have asked, I've moderated a session this morning. Dan Levy did a fantastic job, as he always does. And the question was raised, well, for a new network, how would you launch? Would you launch 100% ad supported or 100% revenue or a blend? What would you do? And I honestly think that that's one of the biggest inhibitors to the growth of this industry is too much overdependence on advertising. Now, that's just my dumb opinion, and it's worth everything you're paying for it, which is nothing. But I tend to think you look at companies that have grown significantly. You take Fox, for example, and their cable side has grown significantly better, has been more profitable traditionally in the last several years versus their broadcast side because they had a base subscription from their cable subscribers. And I would have a hard time going to a doctor who didn't charge me to see her because she only made money based on prescriptions. And I think we would look down on the professionalism, perhaps, on that doctor if they didn't charge for their services. And this is just one dumb guy's opinion, that I think that we devalue the industry when we don't charge for services. It doesn't matter if it's an accountant, an attorney, a doctor, whatever profession, they charge for services. And when one goes into the door without charging for services, then it immediately devalues whatever they're offering. When someone gets the word free in their mind, it's hard to let go of that word because it's one of the greatest words in the English language, is free. The other one being food. If you put the two together, it's home run, right? But and so it's hard for people to overcome that. And I think if networks can really start from inception justifying their value, that helps them to be more effective as a business, helps them to look for, okay, what do I offer, what can I offer to provide tangible value to this host venue, to this retailer, to this, whatever the environment is. What do we do as a business that adds value to this environment? If they do that, number one, they'll be able to charge for it if they really provide something that's of significant value. But number two, it will help them to be more effective as a business. Rather than just throwing fluff to the wind, they'll look for ways in which they can be more effective as a business in targeting what are the needs of the business, what are the needs of the visitors that come to the business, and how do you blend those needs together. Most of the things that I find really beneficial here are just seeing applications of things. It may not necessarily be that thing that I like, that intrigues me. It's just a new application for something, and it stirs my mind into some way that I can apply it to myself. There's some things that we've seen here for several years that haven't found a home because they're really cool technology, but there really hasn't been a good way of actually implementing some of those things. You take the iPad. You take the iPhone, okay? If you look at the iPhone, the technology for the iPhone existed for 5 to 10 years before it was ever released. But the thing that made it so good was Apple, Steve Jobs, found a great way to package it together so it was an easy to use experience, an easy product that met the needs of consumers more effectively. There hadn't been an amalgamation of that technology in an easy to use package for consumers prior to that point, which is why it never got the adoption that it could have since the technology had already existed. And that's some of the things that I see here. There's a lot of really cool stuff, but the key for something to get adoption is where's the applicability? Where's the market value for this? Where's the business case for making something like that really work? So there are a lot of things that I really love here, and probably the most enjoyable thing are just seeing examples of content. Examples of content on screens, how people are treating things in different ways. I learn the most from that. I love the presenters who have shown things, real installations or integrations from screen to mobile, or social to screen. Things like that are really great, and I've loved seeing those examples. Google's a great company, has great ideas, and I've been waiting for years for them to come into this space. I think it'll be interesting to see what they do. At the end of the day, they're an advertising company. That's almost all their revenue is all from advertising, and it makes sense that they would look for more venues, more mediums in which to obtain advertising revenue. I think it'll be interesting to see if someday Google creates or implements some sort of advertising exchange that can be used in the digital signage space, similar to the way that they've done it online. As more and more platforms are used with Android-based players and other types of devices, it'll be interesting to see if Google or others bring an AdSense or AdWords type of a model into the digital signage space. Find value for your business. Find what your value is, prove it, justify it, and use it to provide value-added services to businesses for which you can charge for your services. Don't just be 100% dependent on advertising revenue. Yeah, the only way to find out what's the best way to approach content is by being the person who will see the content itself. There's no perfect solution for anything. Several years ago, I heard someone who was a content creator say, the worst thing in the world you can do is repurpose an asset from this environment and place it on a digital signage screen. Well, rules of thumb like that are not very good most of the time, because in one environment, that makes perfect sense, whereas others it may not. There are networks here that are audio-based, some that have no audio, some that have motion, some that have no motion. So you can't just say one thing works for everybody. That's what I would caution most people. Find out what works best. For us, in the automotive industry, we've got professionals in our business who know cars. And so it's great for them to be involved in creating content because they know so much about vehicles and how they work and how to make them work better. But you tend to get a little bit of a technical skew, so you need to also have people who are like the average customer who don't know anything about that, and how do you communicate to them? So I think when anyone creates content, you need to think, who are the types of people that will experience the content, and how can you have people within your organization to give you the viewpoint of each of those respective personas to make sure you hit something right. So you're not too technical, but you're not too soft. If that makes sense. I mean, essentially, you want to say, if I'm the retailer, if I'm the venue that will have the screen, what do I want on the screen? How should it look for me to impact my business positively? But then separately, you need to say, well, now I'm the customer. I'm the person that's in this environment. What do I want to see or hear that impacts me positively? And sometimes they're conflicting. So you have to either say, well, I'm going to intentionally alienate one group or another with this piece of content, or I'm going to try and work out some way of actually pleasing both.